Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the crypto called DNX, and from the company called Dynex, and I'm going to explain why this is a really interesting project that's completely overvalued. I'll just start by talking about the project a little bit and some of the details, and then I'll get into the basics of understanding how the project works and why it seems to be so undervalued. So let's get into it. So yeah, guys, so this is the Dynex website, and I'm going to start off just by explaining some things about Dynex that probably won't make a lot of sense initially, but when I explain the bigger picture, I think it'll make more sense to you. But yeah, the Dynex website, so it just says here, N quantum computing. Dynex is the world's only accessible neuromorphic quantum computing cloud for solving real-world problems at scale. So yeah, probably not too clear what that means, but we'll get to what it means in more detail soon. So then it says that DNX or Dynex is a flexible blockchain. Dynex represents a cutting-edge neuromorphic computing platform built upon a revolutionary adaptable blockchain system. Comprising of collaborating miners, this decentralized N-quantum computing network excels in executing calculations with unparalleled speed and efficiency, surpassing usual quantum computing limitations. So that sounds like a pretty big deal when you're hearing things like quantum computing and unparalleled speed. But again, this is a little bit confusing. But then if we look up, it's mentioned here, neuromorphic computing. If we look up neuromorphic computing, we see that it says, neuromorphic computing is an approach to computing that is inspired by the structure and function of the human brain. A neuromorphic computer chip is any device that can use physical artificial neurons to do computations. So basically, what we're understanding so far, don't worry, we're going to get into more detail on this, but it's that Dynex and DNX are used to perform calculations with compute power. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. So the Dynex story. So the Dynex story begins with an ambitious vision to create the world's first neuromorphic supercomputing platform. So we're talking about an artificial neural network designed like a human brain supercomputing platform. Unlike many blockchain projects, Dynex didn't start out as a simple cryptocurrency project, but as a solution to the growing need for decentralized computing power. I always like to hear this because, a lot of times these blockchain projects are just launched to make money, but Dynex was launched as a whole idea outside of cryptocurrency, and then it evolved into a cryptocurrency project, and we'll explain why in a second. Through a series of neuromorphic experiments and technological developments, the Dynex team has developed a system capable of solving complex problems with remarkable efficiency. Technical development, from concept to reality, marked by the launch of Dynex Solve, network expansion, rapid growth thanks to adoption by a committed community of miners and users. So that's just where we're at right now, and we'll explain what all that means in a little bit more detail now. So let's talk about what's considered the oil or the most limited resource in the current world. So oil, gold and things like that used to be considered real limited resources that people were fighting over and, were very valuable because of that. Well, now a limited resource is these little things called chips and computing power. I mean, there's companies all over the world. So if you take big tech companies all over the world, they are all trying to build supercomputers. They're all working with data. They're all, they've all got huge customers around the world, and they need more and more and more computing power. The problem is, it's kind of like all these companies in the world needing more and more oil. There's only so much oil to go around, and there's only so many of these computer chips to go around, GPU chips, CPU chips, to go around for these companies to actually have the computational power that they need. So they're all competing for this computing power. And it means that a lot of the solutions that these companies want to build, they just can't do it. Or some of the computations that they want to make, they just can't do it. And this is where Dynex has found a real world problem and is trying to solve that real world problem. So basically, what Dynex does, now if you're familiar with cryptocurrency mining, let's take Bitcoin, for example. It works as simply as this, is a miner gets on their computer. So, it could be, at one time it used to be something as simple as a laptop. It needs to be a more powerful computer than that now. But they use that compute power and it powers the Bitcoin network. That the compute power, so miners, think of them as people all over the world just sitting in the room, like you right now. Sitting in the room, they've got a computer there. They lend their compute power to the Bitcoin network. And when they lend their compute power to the Bitcoin network, they help validate transactions and add blocks to the Bitcoin network and make it secure. And in return, they get paid in Bitcoin. Now, Dynex is using exactly the same process, but instead of, when people mine Dynex, they get paid in Dynex, but instead of it just being wasted then on approving transactions and things like that, that compute power is actually used to power the Dynex network, and then Dynex can go and lend out that compute power to all these type companies, to any customers that they want. So, for example, if you took, I don't know, let's just say Cisco, for example, or Apple. Let's say Apple wanted to, they had some huge task that they needed computational power for. They would go to Dynex, go to their website, go to their marketplace, maybe I'm not sure exactly where they do it, but go and they sign up with Dynex and they'd ask for that computational power, and then Dynex would lend them that computational power. Or maybe they just have one task that they want to be computed, and they would just ask Dynex to compute that for them, and then Dynex, with all this compute power that they're getting from miners, because think about it, there'll be hundreds of thousands of miners all over the world mining Dynex, all their compute power is coming together, and Dynex can go and use supercomputer to start providing these solutions, meaning that Dynex actually has a more powerful computer than any of these top companies do, and we'll explain that in more detail in a second. So it's a really, really, really beneficial use case, and it's a real sensible use case, and it's a winner takes all sort of use case, because these companies all get the computational power that they need. The miners get paid, instead of getting paid in Bitcoin, they get paid in Dynex, or DNX, the cryptocurrency, and then Dynex obviously makes money from their customers. So it really makes sense. So I want to explain, who Dynex is competing with and why it seems to be so undervalued, in my opinion. And I don't own any DNX right now, but it's definitely one of the cryptos that I want to add to my portfolio if I can before this bull run, because it seems to be really undervalued right now. So let's take Nvidia. So Nvidia is a graphics process that has introduced graphics processing units known as GPUs, a key component of PC architecture and large-scale applications. It designs and sells GPUs for gaming, cryptocurrency mining, and professional applications. It also sells chip systems for use in vehicles, robotics, and more. So basically, Nvidia is a company that designs and sells GPUs because they're part of this area where there's this real demand for GPU power. And because of that, Nvidia has become a huge company because of the shortage of GPUs and the need for better GPUs. So if we look how Nvidia has grown as a company, so we can see that's been around since, I'm not sure what year, 2000, 2001, maybe 2002, I'm not sure what year, but we can see anyway on its, when we look up its share price, stock price, we can see that we're getting information from around 2001, and we can see it wasn't doing much for a long time. We can see around 2010, it was $1.84. Around 2008, it was $1.84 for one share of Nvidia. And then as the years went on, we got to 2018, and that's when this real demand for computing power was coming in, and people were starting to realize that there was a shortage of computing power. And now we see what's happened with the development of AI, things like that, cryptocurrency mining, the need of these big data companies, big tech companies to get more compute power. Nvidia has just blown up massively. And as we can see, last year was a huge year for Nvidia, and I think it became the top company in the world by market cap. I might be right in saying we can see the huge growth over time that it had, and it's probably just beginning for Nvidia. It's probably going to grow a lot more. But what's really important to note is that these guys are creating GPUs and selling GPUs. With DNX, you can source GPUs off them, just rent them off them, or rent that computing power for way cheaper than just buying the computers off Nvidia. And they're sourcing this compute power from all over the world. Now, here's what's amazing is Dynex, as a small company and a pretty new project, has just recently set a new world record for quantum computing, breaking Nvidia's previous record. So Dynex announced that they're pleased that they've made a significant breakthrough in the field of quantum computing achieved through the Dynex neuromorphic quantum computing platform. By employing a sophisticated quantum algorithm, we successfully solved a graph containing 10,000 vertices, setting a new record that surpasses the previous benchmark by threefold. The previous world record was established by Nvidia using their CU quantum software on the in-house supercomputer Selene. Nvidia's effort solved 896 GPUs to simulate 1,688 qubits, capable of resolving a graph with 3,375 vertices. This achievement at the time represented an 8-fold increase in the number of qubits compared to the largest previous quantum simulation. So, as you can see, what's happened now is a 3-fold increase from Dynex. So if we look, then we'd say they put a chart in here to show the growth that they've made since this development. So that's huge. Dynex, as far as computing power goes, and the computing power it can provide, and the speed of computations that it can provide, it's outperforming Nvidia now. So you can judge that for yourself and see what you think, especially when you look at the market cap of Dynex. The market cap of Dynex right now is $40 million at the time of making this video. So I'm pre-recording this video, so maybe it could be up or down over the few days until I release this video, but still it's going to be around the 40 million market cap. It seems to me like a no-brainer. Like, this should explode. Nvidia is or was the top company by market cap in the world. It's blown up like this over the last year. And then we've got something called Dynex that's outperforming Nvidia, and it's got a market cap of $40 million. As I've said in other videos, I've been all in Cubic lately. I've been buying up Cubic, but Dynex is the next one on my list that I really need to get into. I'm hoping I can get into it on time before it blows up more, because this project, I don't see how it goes down in price and how it doesn't get up over $1 billion market cap at least. This should be huge, and it seems to be really undervalued. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm missing anything, and I will see you all on the outside.